Hey, my creative friends. My name is Shannon from shannonstudio.com. And I am here to talk about a creative life and to hopefully give some ideas and tips to kind of enlarge our thinking a little bit about creative life and how it helps us, how we get benefits from it. And so that's what I've been doing for 347 days today. 347 days. Hey, Trisha. And Trisha has been around for a lot of those days. And I'm also launching a Creative Heartbeats Club at the end of the month. There's the pre-launch that will go on, I think, the last week and a half of July to sign up for the Creative Heartbeats Club. On August 1st, it will launch, and I have tons of plans, and not like all the plans all at once, but over time, and I'm excited by it. And so the tips that I'm giving this month, I am focusing on why would we need creativity? Why is it important to invest in it? Why is it important to maybe join Creative Heartbeats Club so that creativity is consistent and you build on it and you build up the benefits that come, because they don't come right just one time we make something. They come over a continued effort of being creative. So that's why one of the reasons I'm doing the club is because I know it's hard for people to make that consistent effort to be creative. We have lives, and sometimes we think creativity is actually kind of fun, so we don't think that maybe we should do it. There's maybe some guilt involved that I should be doing something else. There's just a lot of reasons. So I think this will help. So in doing this, though, in creating the club, hey Allison, in creating this membership group, anytime you do something new, there's new things to learn. So I've been, researching products and services and the benefits and the costs, and I finally picked a site, and since it's all new and building the site, there's tutorials you have to learn from, and there's branding that has to be done, and copywriting and imagery, and just how will the members go through, create the courses, create the prompts, it just goes on. And so I'm at the building the website, the course, laying it all out, and I am so frustrated because it's hard. It's just hard to do, and part of me just starts to get stressed, and I'm like, okay, I know I've done this. I know I've done things before. I can do this. Just stick with it. Something's gonna click. Sometimes I get up and walk away and go do something else and come back, but I know the process, and I know the stress involved in doing new things. And it made me think of this quote from Dr. Marvin Marshall. He says, creative people tend not to get easily flustered when faced with emotional and physical hurdle. And I thought about that, flustered. And I looked up the word, because that's what I do. I look up the words. And flustered is the American connotation. The American definition is confused. It's not understanding and being totally confused. Icelandic origin of it was hurried and bustling, and that's when I kind of got the real picture of the flustered. Is like we're bustling around, we're hurriedly confused about what to do next, and this this kind of frantic kind of thing. And I thought it's something can be confusing, but you don't have to become that flustered person. That is so confused you don't know what to do next. And so being creative teaches you how to do that. So right now I'm kind of in what Seth Godin calls the dip, where things are going and they're going. So I could stay down here at the dip, or I know, as other people know, that you keep going and you're going to get out of the dip. it's the people who persevere and can deal with that stress that start to accelerate. So here's another quote from Nicholas Turanio. He says, creative people see stresses more as challenges that they can work to overcome rather than a stressful obstacle they can't. And that's something you learn when you do creative things, because often when you're in the middle of something creative, and both Trish and Allison both quilt, they know sometimes, they're going through and something's not working, or they have to rip it out, and they have to do it again, or making the choices. And so we know from the creative experiences we've had that there's challenges that come along and stressful things that come along, but we'll get over that. It's just like step by step, keep moving through it. So then the question is, how do we develop, and beside the creativity, how do we accelerate that idea of being able to deal with stress? So one of the ways in the book Transcend, he says exploration is not only conducive to growth, but can also help quell our deepest anxieties and fears. And he says Todd Kashdan and his colleagues found that the need for exploration was positively correlated with stress tolerance. So exploring helps build that stress tolerance in us. It helps us, whatever it does in our brains, our bodies, it helps us with dealing with stress. Stress resilience. He continues to say the willingness to embrace the inherent anxiety of a new, unexpected, complex, mysterious, obscure event and stress tolerance demonstrated the strongest correlations with every single dimensions of well-being that they measured. So the whole idea is this idea of exploration. And if anything, creativity leads to that exploration. And he also in Transcend gives 5 ways in which we explore, in which we move through exploration. So the first one is social exploration. It's like getting to know people, getting to know ourselves, the idea of talking, the curiosity that we have with people, walking, talking, touching relieves stress. There's the whole social network. Now there's a negative side, to that as well, like it's being super needy, dependent, having to have it, approval, that sort of thing. But there's an upside, and that's what he's talking about, the upside of the social exploration. Then there's the adventure seeking, and the thrill seeker. And that has to do, a lot of times when we think of thrill seekers, we think of those who go out and are out in nature and do something crazy out there. And it made me think of how being out in nature helps relieve stress in itself. Just, the smells, the sounds, the ground, the earth. So that, that all helps. But then also the adventure itself, going through, what you go through in order to have that thrill. And the fact that you can, I remember a couple of things I read where the thrill seekers doing something actually weren't like real keyed up. That adrenaline rush wasn't during it, because they were very thoughtful. They were very knowing exactly what they were doing. So it wasn't the adrenaline rush. It was very, there was a lot of calm and thought with it. So there's a process with that in the exploration with adventure. Then there's the post-traumatic growth. So growth after traumatic, challenging things, the experiences that we have that are traumatic. And most people have traumatic experiences in their lives. That's what one of the book, is this from Transcend? Yeah, this is from Transcend. Talked about that most people do have traumatic experiences in their lives. That we tend to think that other people do, but most people tend to. And so learning from that and exploring that helps us deal with stress. Openness to experience. Totally a creative thing. You have to be open to doing all kinds of new things. and trying new things. Being open to say yes. I did watch that movie Yes once. I think it was Jim Carrey. I think I watched it. Watched bits of it anyways. Where he just says yes to everything. Then there's the intellectual exploration. And it was interesting because I read a little bit about Albert Einstein, and you would think he uses logic and math to explore, and intellectually you think that, and yes, that can be part of it, but he also used, what did they say? Explored fundamental and abstract principles by constructing imaginary metaphorical scenarios. Right there, I'd have to intellectually sit with that statement for a while to figure it out. But what he did was he made up imaginary situations, and he put himself in that, and he explored them from all angles. And that was how he moved into some of his scientific thoughts. And what does Transcend say? He played with mental pictures and made up different rules for the universe. And it helped him to be able to use that exploration technique. So the whole idea is that a lot of times people are stressed, and then they go, I need something to help me. I'm stressed out. I need something to help me. When in reality, our stress help comes way before we need the stress help. So that's one of the reasons for Creative Heartbeats Club, is so that we consistently are creative. We're consistently using those creativity muscles. So we build up this resilience to stress. So we build up the tolerance before we need it. We don't need to wait and say, in the moment of stress, go, how do I deal with it? If I were doing my computer thing, it's not like I need to stop now and do the exercises to be able to bring myself out of the stress. I'm already in it. I need to, I would be drawing on things that I have done previously to help with that stress. Hey, Joan. So that's one of the reasons for Creative Heartbeats Club, because we're going to do things. We're going to actually do some of these things like experiences, open to experiences, where we try different things. We're going to use intellectual, because you're going to use principles. There's going to be conceptual thinking. And then the social, because there's going to be a community that you can connect with. So we're going to use at least those three aspects of exploration in Creative Heartbeats. So then you're building up these kinds of experiences and opportunities in order to build up our resilience and tolerance to stress. And I don't know who doesn't have stress in their life in some way, shape, or form. I mean, even Joseph has stress in his life today because he couldn't have the candies, like for the 5th time in a row. So, we all deal with stress. So it would be beneficial for us to figure out a way, and you don't have to join Creative Heartbeats to figure out a way or to explore and do those things. I just think that that's going to help you and I consistently add and work our creativity muscles. So that's that tip for today. Exploration, you'll find exploration in Creative Heartbeats Club, and it'll help you to be more stress tolerant, stress resilient. So that's it for today, and remember, you have a creative heartbeat, so listen for it, and I will be back tomorrow. Bye.